We knew the president was going to be giving a speech on religious liberty. I did not, and I was in the room. I was. I'll ask you what your thoughts were. I did not expect him to go as hard as he did this morning. He went all the way in. He went absolutely in the paint and said, "America must return to Christ." And he made the argument. He linked it to crime and violence and decay in a way that, this is a very Christian understanding that society is based around this concept. And it's amazing because you're seeing it from, and he mentioned in the speech, he said, look, I'm a businessman. I don't come from your world. I don't come from the religious background. He of course grew up attending sermons with Norman Vincent Peale. I think that's been reported a number of times, and certainly has adopted a lot of his speaking aphorisms and mannerisms, but positivity. But at the same time, he's not exactly known for his religious pronouncements. Here he is saying, "Look, we need to bring faith back into America for America to get out of the situation we're in." It was nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing two different parts of Trump here. In the one sense, after what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, I think we have seen a transformed president here. I don't know how you can look at those events and not see Providence's hand on him. It clearly is. We know that God ordains leaders. He ordains when empires rise and fall. And, whether you like it or not, he ordained that Donald Trump would be president of the United States. And so as Trump is carrying out these policies, I think we see him seeing both sides of the coin of what needs to happen to restore to the United States to its great moral glory. So on the one hand, we need a government that does what Romans 13 tells us that the government should do, and that is terrorize the wicked for the benefit of the innocent. And for a long time, we have not seen that in our political leadership. We have seen people that wanted to terrorize the innocent by allowing the wicked to run free. And that's what we've seen. So Trump is dealing with that part of the issue. But on the other side, we also have that famous John Adams aphorism that our republic cannot function unless we have a moral, religious people. And I think that Trump clearly sees that too. He sees that we need a people who understands where their moral grounding comes from. And that comes from the Bible and it comes from Christianity. So he's openly acknowledging that. I think that's a wonderful thing. What's a little disappointing to me, and it is something that I covered in my book, Shepherds for Sale, is how little support he has gotten from some of the mainstream, really well-known pastors who you think would be celebrating this effort. But I think a lot of them did not back him in the election. And so what you have is a pastorate that is now ashamed that they did not see what so many of the rank and file in the pews saw when they went ahead and pulled that lever for Trump. And so now, they're trying to sort of subtly shift their position, but they're not talking about these issues anymore. And I think in a large part because they know that they didn't support the president. We have a lot of pastors who did support the president, but I want to be clear that, those who sit at the top of some of our most elite institutions, organizations like the National Association of Evangelicals or Christianity Today, they opposed him. And I don't see how they can help be anything but shamed when they look at the positions he's taking now.
I mean, it's truly amazing. And I remember having had this argument with so many Christians going all the way back to 2015, 2016. And I said, God often works through imperfect instruments. And if you've actually read the Bible and understood what these examples, that it would say, how could I vote for a person like that? I said, what do you mean? Just read it. Read the stories that are in the Bible. Read the stories that are listed for us, the historical narrative it's again and again and again. What God does is he takes imperfect vessels and he holds them up and uses them and anoints them to, in many cases, to rule nations and to make those nations greater. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, that Donald Trump is, has the hand of God, but, in every little thing that he does or something. But when you step back and you have to say, something is at work here, something bigger and something absolutely stronger is at work. You see this in voting patterns. You see this with the president, and he's clearly a man who's now discussing faith much more openly and much more freely than he ever has before. And it obviously happened, or made that change there in Butler, Pennsylvania last year.
Yeah, I absolutely see that. And I'll be honest, I don't see how you can read scripture and look at this presidency and not see that Proverbs tells us the heart of the king is in the Lord's hands, and he's going to direct it in any direction that he wants. And I think he has directed it in such a way in the previous administration that a lot of things were revealed that have been disturbing, and there was a level of rot there that we have needed to address for a long time, and I think that has been providentially revealed. And I think it was providentially revealed by a unique personality, let's say, that had the fortitude to continue to fight when most of us would have given up.